In this Q&A video, I'm going to be answering all of your Upwork and freelancing related questions. I've got a bunch of questions from you guys from the community. On top of that, I'm also giving away a free coaching call at the end of this video, as promised in my YouTube post. Let's get straight into it. First question is, should I start applying to jobs with 0 reviews? I do have a solid portfolio and profile. Amazing content, thank you. Awesome. In my opinion, you shouldn't send proposals until you have maxed out the profile as much as possible. So what I mean by this is you should have at least 3 testimonials on your profile, 3 to 5, but try and get as many as possible. I just recorded a video where I got 9 in one day, and then max out the rest of your profile. So have a great title and a great description, research the top profiles in your space. I have a bunch of content about this on my YouTube channel. Get a video introduction as well. You can also get up to free 2 certificates on your profile. A lot of people don't know this, but that just really positions you as an expert. So do that too. And then on top of that, just max out the other experiences. Like even the other experiences recently on my profile, I just mentioned that I'm into jiu-jitsu and going to the gym. Why not? Just add it in there, max out the profile and make it look good before you ever start sending proposals. And I would also urge you, put your availability badge on your profile. It costs about 14 connects a week, which is very little. It's like nothing, but still, you should do it. And it just gives you another little badge next to your profile, and it just makes you look good. Okay, so the next question is, hey Ryan, what's the best way to post that fake job post? Through my account or just create an account? Yeah, you can literally just create a client account. You can go to your settings, create a client account, and then just put out a job that you would hypothetically be hiring for, right? It doesn't even necessarily have to be fake, right? Like if you're in a niche, like let's say for example, you're in social media management, you eventually will, once you get to like a couple K per month, want to outsource. So actually think of it as a real job post, right? Put out that job post and see what the top people in your space are responding to those types of jobs, right? And it'll give you a good lay of the land. And what I find with my students is that they get a lot of confidence from it because they realize there's not that much competition. Even though there's 18 million freelancers, there's only a few people applying to every single job, right? Which is interesting. So yeah, just go and make a client account, just put out a fake job. It's that simple. And even Upwork has this thing called Uma now where it'll actually just make it for you. So it's just like using ChatGPT. It's really easy. Okay, so the next question is, do you use sales calls or Loom videos is enough to close the client? So you're asking, do I just use the Loom videos to close the client, or do I also then do a sales call? Well, typically speaking, the Looms that I send, my whole philosophy around it is just to get a response. I just want them to DM me back because then I'm going to get some of the connects back, which makes it free. And then on top of that, it shows a little bit of personality. But then absolutely, you should still jump on a sales call. But don't worry about being on camera. Like most of the time, clients don't really care about you being on camera. And if they do, you can literally just say like,
oh, I'm just on my phone right now. I'm not actually at my laptop.
Or something like that. Just make an excuse. People won't usually pressure you into it. And what I find as well is if I jump onto the call on video, then they'll turn their video on. But if I just jump on the call without my video on, they won't really care. But yeah, you should definitely still get on a sales call because you want a good relationship with these clients. And I think it just helps. It's easier to close somebody over a quick 30-minute sales call than it is to hope that they trust you through the messages. But you can do most of the heavy lifting with Looms. And I'll usually send a few Looms answering their questions that they might have in the DM before a call. So they kind of already have got to know my personality. And then it's really just a question of price, and it's really easy. That's just something to keep in mind. Okay, so Stacy wanted to know, first of all, this is a very insightful video. I appreciate that. I have been enjoying your content, which is awesome. Watching you made me feel better prepared to promote myself on Upwork, which is great. If you had any tips for people that work with confidential services, that would be great. For example, I work as a bookkeeper. I have to gain the trust of clients before I have access to the information. What would you create a personalized Loom video in this situation? Yeah, absolutely. People buy from who they like. So if you're in a confidential service, you might as well just send them a Loom video showing that you're like a personal person, you're reputable, you're a professional, and that you can handle this, just like as if you were in person, right? It's the same in many niches. Like for social media management, it might not necessarily be confidential, but they still have to give you confidential access to their social medias. Or if you're an AI, they have to give you confidential access to their Zapier account. Like you could screw with them and mess them around, but it's all just about trust. And that's why I like Loom videos, but it's not just about the Loom. You just need to be a professional and be good at your job if you want to land clients and make them like you and make them trust you ultimately. Okay, so another question is, my struggles are my profile isn't getting any views by clients and I'm getting no invitations. I can almost guarantee that the reason that you're not getting any views and no invitations is because number one, you haven't maxed out the profile. Like I can almost guarantee, just like when I did the profile review on my channel, the worst Upwork profile ever, when I did that review, the guy was missing many things on his profile. You are probably also not maxing out your profile, bro. So I would suggest that you max it out, because if you do that, then you're going to get not only just that, actually, now that I think about it, but once you've maxed out the profile, if you're just focused on getting invitations and getting views, then you should boost your profile, because boosting your profile is much cheaper than sending 10 proposals a day. Like even recently, for example, I spent about $50 on boosting my profile over a few few days, and I was able to land about $750 worth of deals. And I still have a bunch in the pipeline from that. Yeah, you should do that. And to be honest, bro, like when people ask me that, like it's usually because they just haven't maxed out the profile. They haven't done all of the steps that I talk about on my YouTube channel to actually max these things out first. Okay. But if you get stuck, just drop me a message in the comments and maybe I can review your profile in the YouTube channel. Okay. Another great question is, what are your thoughts on using videos as attachments to the proposal instead of Loom links? And I love this question because 5 or 6 years ago, before Loom was even a thing, what I used to do is I used to record a voice note and then I would attach that as in the attachment section of Upwork. And that worked really well, by the way. That used to be like my thing that I used to teach people. Things are constantly evolving. Like what I teach now and what I help my students to get results will inevitably change in the next 3 months or the next 6 months. And that's why it's important to be on the cutting edge of this stuff. But that definitely works. I actually sent a proposal today that was for an AI agent client, and I sent a Loom and I also sent a screenshot attachment as well for something that I was trying to show them, and they immediately got back to me. So it does look good. You could definitely do that. Absolutely. Get creative with it. Like it stands out. So why not? Okay. So another question is, thanks for this, Ryan. How can I get to see a job posted based on my niche, even if it's 1 hour ago, to get hired to? I'm assuming what you mean by that is like, how can I get notified of a new job in my niche? If that's what you mean, then you can just use the notifications that Upwork automatically has. You can also use different softwares. One that I use is called Volna. I think it's really good. You can also use Upcat. I've spoken about these on my channel. You can just type this into Google, Volna Upwork, and then Upcat Upwork. One is a Chrome extension. One is like an actual application that you can use. And then you can get notified and you can set it up so you can get notified via like Telegram or email or, a text or like a push notification on your laptop. And that's how you can be some of the first people to apply. And I recently closed a $500 client for AI automation, which I'm, learning. I was one of the first people to apply, and that made a big difference. And I always stress that on my YouTube channel that the earlier you apply to jobs, if you're like the first one to apply, you've got a good chance of closing that client. It's also cheap as well because then you don't have to bid on the profile and you don't have to try and like compete with other people, right? So just something to keep in mind. But I think that should hopefully answer your question. So another question is, hey Ryan, I tried to book a call, but it isn't working on your site. Yeah, okay. So the reason for this is because I changed recently to an application only process. I was getting about 100 people trying to book in a call with me every single month on my YouTube channel to join my mentorship program. And it's one-to-one, so I can't really work with everybody. So I've recently changed it to application to, so I can be a bit more picky and choosy with who I work with ultimately. Another question, well, there's actually a bunch of questions here. So how much money have you made out of Upwork and what was your best month? So I've made a bunch of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars from Upwork and freelancing, as you guys have seen on my YouTube channel. I've went from being a complete beginner working at Holland & Barrett to being able to make in my maximum month probably about $15,000, $16,000. I even have a video on my channel from like 6 years ago where I actually show you like my PayPal and my Upwork account where I was making what, $15,000, $16,000. I think at that time in that video it's about £12,000, which is about $15,000, right? I believe. Not only have I been able to do that, but I've also been able to stop for 3 years, come back, get from 0 to 9.6K per month in less than 47 days and document the whole thing on my YouTube channel. And even right now I'm doing another challenge. And in the last 10 days, I've went from a complete beginner to about $600 or $700 this month in a little challenge that I'm doing with a completely new profile, which you guys haven't seen yet, which I'm really excited to show you. One of the other questions he had was, how has freelancing changed your life? I'll tell you one thing, yeah, freelancing has changed my life a lot because it's allowed me to make a bunch of money and travel the world and yada, 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 and inspire you guys. But like more than anything, I'm just so happy about how I've been able to touch like all the people around me. Like my girlfriend makes thousands of dollars per month from Upwork. All my friends make money from Upwork. I've just been able to, like, everybody around me does Upwork. Like everybody around me has been able to make money from Upwork, from my mentorship and from, the lessons that I talk about. And to be honest, that's the thing that I'm like most proud of, honestly. Like I'm super happy about that. Like obviously I love making money. Being able to change other people's lives is dope, man. And using Upwork as the vehicle to do that has been really inspiring. So your third question was, how did you go from getting your first job to having an agency in Upwork? It just started, like, it's the same for every freelancer. Like you start, my first client was $180, right? And I got a 0-star review. It's the same for everybody. Like my first client was terrible. Then I got a bit better. Then it got a bit better. Then I charged a little bit more. And then eventually I was at 15K per month. That's just kind of how it goes for everybody, to be honest. If you stay consistent and you don't give up. One of his other questions was, what mistakes have you done? How can you avoid them? I got loads of videos on my YouTube channel talking about this. Like I even have a video from 5 or 6 years ago where I talked about losing 5 clients in one day. I think one of the biggest mistakes I see from coaching a lot of people is just not staying consistent and not sending proposals and just like changing your mindset. Like you have to believe this is possible. If you don't believe this is possible, then it won't work, woo woo or whatever. But like, it's true. Like, and this really works. Like guys, there's billions of dollars to be made on Upwork. Like billions of dollars have been paid out. Why can't you make money? I think the biggest mistake, to be honest, was for me, it just took me way longer than it probably should have because I didn't have a mentor. So maybe that's a mistake. I should have maybe invested in some mentorship, but there wasn't anybody like me who's teaching this. And there still kind of isn't. There's some people on YouTube, but nobody's as serious and nobody's providing as much value. And there's nobody's as consistent in terms of making content around Upwork as I am, as you can probably see if you go and look at this space. My biggest mistake would probably be not getting mentorship, you know? Number 5, your 5th question, how to tighten up my portfolio to show results. Well, it's hard to see it unless I've not seen it, so I don't really know how to answer that question. And how to position my profile to command authority. Main thing, really strong title, really strong description, a really professional profile picture, and then a really good video introduction. And then just, if you don't have certifications on your profile, just use the 2 that you can get for free. So just make them up on your profile and just name them as something that's positioned well and that looks good. And that will give you a lot of credibility, to be honest. And yeah, I think that's honestly all of the questions for today. Now, if you have a question and you don't feel like I answered it, what I want you to do is put it in the comment section and I'll actually answer it in the next Q&A video. And trust me, like if you leave a comment there, I will answer it. So don't be afraid to ask it, and don't be afraid to ask basically anything you want. It can be about me, it can be about Upwork, can be about freelancing, could even be your profile. Now, for the free coaching call giveaway, I'm going to give it away to this guy that asked a bunch of questions because why not? He was super active. The random 6745. Find a way to reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Instagram. I'll give you a free coaching call. Congratulations. And if you want to get access to a free coaching call, then you got to ask better questions. Drop in a question in the comment section, guys. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. I hope I answered some good questions for you. And if you want a 7-day roadmap on exactly how to get started with Upwork, then just watch this video.